You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests and repeat offenders.
I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, so let's take a chance to do a new dance. So I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, sing la 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 la.
Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton are in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
Wow, thank you.
Glad to be back.
And I use that term very, very loosely. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
I even have the soundbite standing by, but, you know, that's... and let's move right along. What are we going to celebrate today, Josh? I know there's got to be something to celebrate. National Logistics Day.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I used to get involved in that one. Caps Lock Day. What the heck is Caps Lock Day? Where'd that come from? National Insurance Awareness Day. Okay, well, are you in California? Well, you better be aware of insurance because you're going to get rejected. That's all I can say about insurance in California. It's not going in the right direction. Let's take a look. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 76. S&P 500 is up 3.66. NASDAQ is up 64.96. And oil is up $1.51 a barrel. Let's see. You got to love this. Big headline on Market Watch this morning. President Biden is declaring victory on the economy, and Wall Street is grudgingly coming around.
You know better than that.
Who's winning on the economy? Gas prices are up. Inflation is up. The cost of everything we need is up. Interest rates are up. Well, President Biden's bank accounts, those are up. But that's a whole different, and he's talking about victory in the economy. Anybody feel really, really good about this economy? Well, maybe the problem is President Biden might be asleep when they're talking about these things, because I don't know anybody that thinks the economy is doing really well. I can't think of, can anybody think of anyone that, well, maybe the oil companies. Maybe that's the only one that President has done well with. Of course, you got the 7 stocks, Apple and Microsoft, NVIDIA, and, all the AI companies. Those guys are doing well. But it just goes to show you, why is the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 67 while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are both up? Well, the S&P 500 is being driven by 7 stocks. That's it. About 490 of them are down, and there's 7 or 8 or 9 that are doing well. But the president, apparently, he was taking a nap and he didn't see that. Even the unemployment numbers are going the wrong way. So all of these things are going the wrong way, but the president, he thinks it's all really, really good. But you know something? You're going to start feeling a big problem coming up, and I'm going to be talking about it a lot on Ron Siegel Radio just because I want to help you. And that's been our mission of our broadcast since 2010 when we started doing Ron Siegel Radio. So October 1st, whether you like it or not, October 1st is coming. What is going to happen on October 1st? Student loan payments are going to restart. Whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you've gotten your letter or not, whether you've checked your emails or not, Mr. Norton, but student loan payments Just harassing you from our
I
pre-show
paid my
conversation.
student loans a long time ago.
Did they even have student loans back then?
No, they did not.
I'm just
Act-
throwing that out there.
Actually, it was cheaper to go to school, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, but here's the issue. Those are coming up. Now, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Please do not refinance your student loans from a government program into a private program. It will hurt you in the long run. It'll hurt you in the short run. I don't know if I shared this on air yesterday because I was talking, I wasn't listening. So here's the issue. We just went through this scenario with somebody who refinanced their student loan debt. They had about $280,000. It's a doctor, $280,000 in student loan debt. They refinanced it, and I'm not going to say what the name of the stadium is in Inglewood who refinanced the loans. But now their payment went from a government loan to a private loan, and the loan payment is now $4,500 a month.
Ow!
$4,500 a month. Had they visited rsrstudentloanhelp.com and got the data that we're sharing with you right there, that payment would have been a little over $400 a month. 400 versus 4,000. Which do you prefer? Big issue. Think about what kind of a house you could buy with that extra $4,000 every month. Think about that concept. Now I hear all kinds of folks telling me, well, Ron, you know, I've got this debt and I've also got these other things going on, but I've got a mortgage at 3.5%. I am not ever going to get rid of that. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, you should be looking at it. Why? Because we're starting to see a lot of folks, I'm getting calls on this one on a regular basis that says, okay, guess what? I've got credit card debt. I've got auto debt. I've got all unsecured debt. And I got a 3.5% mortgage, which I understand that about 50% of the population, maybe even more, has mortgages under 4%. But does that matter? Think about this, because you've also got significant equity in your house. But I'm not going to change houses, Ron, because I need an extra bedroom. We had an extra kid. There's nowhere for us to sleep. We've got the Coleman already out back, right? But here's the issue. Sell your property. Consider selling your property. Consider not using all of the money that you have in equity for the new property. Get a smaller loan, but roll in all of your debts into the new loan. So you're taking some of the equity that you had and paying off your car loans, your credit cards, your unsecured debts. You're going to buy a new house with a smaller down payment. You can even buy the bigger house. That's fine. Watch what happens, because I'm starting to see this as a regular issue. People are actually able to go and buy the house that they need with a mortgage payment in the mid sixes, low sevens, but their household debt service drops because we're rolling the car, credit cards, and unsecured debt into getting those paid off. Now, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, what the problem's going to be, because I know our population. You're going to go out, you're going to get that new house, you're going to get the bigger house, and then you're going to run up the student loan, the credit card debt again. We tend to do that on a regular basis. Not smart, but that's what happens. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Here to help you. When we come back, we're going to chat about a lot of different things. Lending standards, not like they were leading up to the crash, what home buyers need about credit scores, and we'll see what our guests have to say about my opening conversation. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. RSRNoDebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. RSRNoDebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to RSRNoDebt.com. RSRNoDebt.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They don't tell us APRs, points paid, points received. They just tell us locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. And I see way too much green on this screen. 10-year conforming up 6.695. 30-year jumbo up 6.988. 30-year FHA, the only one that's down, 6.601. 30-year USDA rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.719. And the best loan on the market for those that actually earned it, 30-year VA loan, 6.403. Let's take a look and see what's going on more locally or today. That's all old data. That's from yesterday. 10-year Treasury down 3 basis points. S&P 500 is up 3.62. Mortgage-backed securities, they're up 20 basis points, which is good for the market. It means interest rates are down a little bit today. Not a whole lot of news out there right now. Mortgage applications from the MBA released their data for last week, showing that purchase rose by 3% last week, down 21% year over year. Interest rates remained around 6.75%, with rates now about 1% higher than this time last year. Refinances increased 3% last week and are now down 32% year over year. So not a lot of good news right there, but the market's going into the holiday shortened time period. And remember, whenever you have holidays, especially like July 4th is always a goofy one, because are people taking off before it? Are they taking off after it? Are they doing both? What's happening right there? So the markets will be more volatile. Again, mortgage-backed securities are up 20 basis points, which means rates are down just a little. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat with our guest this morning. We've got Blake Vartanian. He actually has his own walk-up music for Blake. I'm not going to go all the way into it. Blake Vartanian, Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100 are in the house. Like that.
Thank you, Ron. That's a good one.
Just a little, what is that, a guitar chord?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Well, oh yeah, nice good looks.
we're gonna have one for you by the time we come back. Josh, we got to figure out something for Norton.
I should have said
it. Yeah. We will come up with something for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
So what do you think, guys? I mean, I know, Blake, you've been talking a lot about these different opportunities out there and how people, it's all about their own situation.
Yeah, each person is different. And, I think what happens is we tend to look at statistics and say that's impacting everywhere. And real estate is very local, block by block, city by city. So what's happening in one neighborhood, impersonal, right? What's happening in one neighborhood may not be happening in another. The demand for a neighborhood might be higher for whatever reason. And when you look at, the historical trend line, interest rates from 1981 till about 1999-ish were well above 8%. And we kept thinking, if we could just get them under 8%, where we are today, actually, we would see a surge. Instead, because of where we were for so many years at artificially held down rates, we are now, dealing with the reality, but also the consumer's shock. We can see it slowly starting to reach acceptance. That this is the new environment, that it's not necessarily going to change in the next couple of weeks. If you just wait, you'll get a 5% mortgage. And that what you talked about of consolidating your debt, it's such a brilliant strategy, because most people who've been in their homes a long time don't want to refinance, but they're sitting on $100,000 or $200,000 worth of personal debt from boats, cars, whatever, that could be refinanced and money used differently.
Yeah, and how many people do you come across, Blake? Because I know you're talking to agents all day, every day. How many agents are coming out there and saying, nobody wants to sell anything because they don't want to get rid of that 3% mortgage.
Yeah.
Yet their household debt, the blended rate is probably 7 or 8%.
Well, and we just and last week our firm just we closed a transaction a little over $1,100,000, where the people who lived here in North Orange County renting for years, they didn't get the advice that they needed in order to purchase until they met with us. And the advice that they were giving was, you have a 480 FICO score, but there are things that can be done to get you to the FHA minimum. And so that work went into it, and the agents, got their FICO score with working with the making sure that their credit was reflective of what was actually going on in their life, because we don't always pay attention to our credit, and things happen. I've had a sub account created on my credit before, and it took a long time to get it cleaned up, because somebody was riding on my back, not without me knowing it, utilizing my credit to get what they wanted.
So just a couple things we're going to throw out there because we love to help. So if you've got that, there's two places, rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com.
Mhm.
So you can monitor what your credit scores are. And then if you have that 480, and again, this is an issue that Blake just brought up, which is great information. There are a lot of real estate individuals, because I'm not referring to professionals, because professionals will do this, but there are a lot of real estate individuals who are transactional. All they really care about, can we do a transaction today? Can we do a transaction right now? It's like, well, I've got some friends that are car dealers, but I'm going to use this one anyway. You go into the car dealership. If we can get you your $300 payment, will you buy right now? And if you say no, then they're going to ignore you. There are real estate individuals that do that as well. Blake's talking about professionals who actually sit down and share or look at your situation, and they have solutions. Like, I love the idea here, because my commentary is to most people is our lending team never ever turns somebody down for a loan unless there's fraud involved.
Well,
then they're out. There's not even a conversation.
Right, you can't come back from that.
So there's that's the easy one. But if there's not fraud involved, the answer is not now. Not no, but not now. And that's what you're talking about right there. Is you have someone on your team that actually said, "Hey, here's the game plan for us to accomplish what we want to accomplish."
Yeah, and to their credit, the client was pleasantly surprised at what they were able to do from all accounts, because they were of the belief they had no shot at buying a house.
Yeah, we love that. We love that scenario where somebody can actually, they think they have no chance. And I've got to share that it's amazing how many people who have no real estate background and no lending background I talk to that come, they say, well, I'd love to buy a house, but I can't. Why can't you? Well, I don't have enough down payment. I don't have a good enough credit score. And my comment is, according to whom? Who have you talked to?
Well, and we educate, our agent team members that every month you're going to want to help 1, 2, 3, 4 families, whatever your goals are. And so maybe that family that you're helping today isn't going to be ready to act until next January, but the work you put into it is now solving, an opportunity for that January, because the time's going to go by no matter what.
Sure.
So if you do nothing, you get nothing.
Right.
If you do something, you might get something.
You're going to get why I laughed, is when you said, who are they talking to? They're not talking to anybody. They're on the internet. They're on some website. They don't know where and that information is an algorithm. It just kicks them out, and it doesn't give them solutions other than to sign up for this, sign up for that. But that doesn't give them a plan. It just spins them into the whirlpool of the internet knowledge, which is statistically, you have no idea where they come from, where the statistics come from, what the basis is. How many times on this show have you talked about reports that come out and yet they altered how they got to the report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's a famous Ron quote. And so it's the same thing out there. I think, just as a side comment, the world of statistics and analysis has twisted up so bad with the internet, because everybody has a study, everybody has this, but nobody ever puts up, okay, here's how we came to that conclusion. Here's the data we use. They all just want to give you here's what we discovered. And it's like, not how we got to that discovery.
Well, ironically, you say that, because I was looking this morning. So I was on a call last Friday, and the comment was the average person with student loan debt has $107,000 in student loan debt.
Wow.
Average individual. So
can I stop you? Is that just the average student, or is that a secondary student? Is that just a 4-year batch? Is that everybody?
That's exactly where I'm heading.
Okay, thank you.
So when I went to that super secret website, google.com, and put in there, what is the average student loan debt in the U.S.? I got responses everywhere from 30,000 to 160,000, all based on December 22 through today. So yeah, you can look up whatever you want on the internet and find it.
Yeah.
You can find something to substantiate. You can even,
whichever way you want to go.
You can even
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
Chapman University and get the mean of
See,
what's happening with
Well, those of us remember it as Chapman College.
home prices. But we're not going to go to the Chapman conversation again today. I've already done that. This is Ron Siegel. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, lending standards are not like they were leading up to the crash. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Lending standards are not like they were leading up to the crash. That'd be 2008, Jim.
Okay.
Just wanted to
making
throw that
sure.
out there. You might be worried we're heading for a housing crash, but there are many reasons why this housing market is not like the one we saw in 2008. One of which is how lending standards are different today. Here's a look at the data to help prove it. Every month, the Mortgage Bankers Association releases their Mortgage Credit Availability Index. According to their website, quote, the Mortgage Credit Availability Index, MCAI, provides the only standardized quantitative index that is solely focused on mortgage credit. The MCAI is a summary measure which indicates the availability of mortgage credit at a point in time, unquote. Basically, the index determines how easy it is to get a mortgage. Take a look at the graph that we've got for you. The MCAI, since they started keeping track of this data in 2004, it shows how lending standards have changed over time. It works like this. When lending standards are less strict, it's easier to get a mortgage, and the index, the green line in the graph, is higher. When lending standards are stricter, it's harder to get a mortgage, and the line representing the index is lower. And you can actually see this right now on that chart if you are watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. In 2004, the index was around 400. Ooh, look at that. But by 2006, it got up to over 850. Today, that was basically the days can fog a mirror, you're approved for the loan. Pretty simple, not a whole lot to it. Today, the story is quite different. Since the crash, the index went down because lending standards got tighter. So today, it's harder to get a mortgage. 96.5. Loose lending standards contributed to the housing bubble. One of the main factors that contributed to the housing bubble was that lending standards were a lot less strict back then. Realtor.com explains it like this, quote, in the early 2000s, it wasn't exactly hard to snag a home mortgage. Plenty of mortgages were doled out to people who lied about their incomes and employment and couldn't actually afford home ownership, unquote. That's a surprise.
Lie is a nice word for fraud.
That's exactly. The tall peak in the graph that we spoke about indicates that leading up to the housing crisis, it was much easier to get credit, and the requirements for getting a loan were far from strict. Back then, credit was widely available, and the threshold for qualifying for a loan was low. Lenders were approving loans without always going through a verification process to confirm if the buyer would likely be able to repay the loan. That means creditors were lending to more borrowers who had a higher risk of defaulting on their loans. Today, loans are much tougher to get than before. As mentioned, lending standards have changed a lot since then. Bankrate describes the difference, quote, today lenders impose tough standards on borrowers, and those who are getting a mortgage overwhelmingly have excellent credit, unquote. If you look back at the graph that I shared with you a minute ago, you'll notice after the peak around the time of the housing crash, the line representing the index went down dramatically and has stayed low since. In fact, the line is far below where standards were even in 2004, and it's getting lower. Joel Kahn, I don't know, one way or the other. VP and Deputy Chief Economist at MBA provides the most recent update from May. Quote, mortgage credit availability decreased for the third consecutive month. With the decline in availability, the MCAI is now at its lowest level since January 2013, unquote. The decreasing index suggests standards are getting tougher, which makes it clear we're far away from the extreme lending practices that contributed to the crash. Bottom line, leading up to the crash, lending standards were much more relaxed with little evaluation done to measure a borrower's potential to repay. Today, loan standards are tighter and the risk is reduced for lenders and borrowers. Goes to show these are two very different housing markets, and this market is not the same as last time. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation. Jim Norton, Blake Vartanian,
Does
Realty.
your little computer have 2004 interest rate? What was the interest rate when it crashed? Do you remember?
Probably in the mid sevens.
Mhm.
I don't remember. I thought it was coming down to like, because I thought I think I did a refi though around 2004, 2005, about 4%.
I don't think so, but it
because
could have been.
that was
the
the
Fed- the Fed-
combination
the Fed-
back then. There was also the fuel that the interest rates had dropped.
Might have been you might have been talking about that 10-year mortgage for the people that can really do those things.
No, it was a countrywide.
Oh, okay.
And we don't have to worry about it.
That was okay. So that
we
was
can't
the,
get in trouble because there is no countrywide.
that was the
anymore.
negative am portion then.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I say it was also fuel to the fire. Not that they were also giving it a loan to everybody. There was also interest rates were also pretty affordable.
Well, if you remember though, going 2004 to 2007, interest rates were in the mid sevens.
Yep.
But if you remember, we had the pick-a-pay loan,
Yep.
so people were
World.
paying 1.5.
Yep.
Right,
a lot
with
of
the
that
negative
They had
amortization.
a lot of programs that were
And the Fed raised interest rates 17 consecutive meetings from 2004 to the fall of 2006.
Wow.
I know that history very
they
well.
cut them or they. I'm sorry,
No, they raised
raised-
rates every meeting for 17 consecutive meetings, which took the base rate from virtually zero to 4.25, I believe it was, or 4.5. And then by the time the mortgages were,
But that-
the spread on the mortgage
That
was
wasn't the initial problem. The initial problem was 400 FICO scores were getting loans, and no document,
Well-
no doc loans.
Yeah, well, it was basically, if you remember, we all referred to them lovingly
Right,
as
lovingly,
liar loans.
yeah.
yes.
Liar loans. Thank you.
Liar loans.
How many
Well-
rate increases are we on now on this current Fed?
10.
10.
Yeah.
So 7 more than.
We're
It's funny. It's
heading there.
amazing how
We're-
history repeats itself, kind of. Cycles.
Yeah,
Nobody ever talks
well,
about cycles anymore.
so and that really is true, because we do go into these cycles, and
Mhm.
and history does repeat itself whether we want to or not.
The Fed only has so many options, right? And
Right.
they can do the same thing over and over again, and it's never worked, and it's not working this time. The reason it's not working is because you don't increase the supply. You don't get the prices of things to come down when you reduce the supply of them. So they wanted to cool the housing market as far as pricing. The housing market was already cooling down. They start raising rates. The number of homes on the market goes down. The same number of buyers show up. There's fewer homes. Now the prices are going back up again.
Sure.
They shot themselves in the foot and maybe other parts of their anatomy, because these brilliant people who sit in these ivory towers don't
Such an
practice
idiot.
business on the
Such an
street.
idiot. Such an idiot.
Well, none of
You
them
know-
have ever been out on the street. That's the problem.
that's the problem.
They're
They've never had
looking
a-
at the numbers and thinking that it's healthy for Orange County to close 350 properties in a week in Southern California market. That's less than 2,000 transactions closed over the course of the spring market month, when normally it would be 6,500 to 7,500 would be a balanced market.
6,500 to 7,500.
Would be a balanced market with about 9 to 10 to 11,000 homes on the market at any given time. And right now there's 2,300 active listings.
Wow. So it took me a while, Blake. I'm a little
Yeah,
bit
no,
slow.
Sorry.
No,
I get passionate about this because I only
I
have
do
a
it for- you do it
bachelor's
for a living?
degree and 43 years of being in this profession to understand that you can't make things more expensive and then expect people to buy, to want to jump into it. You have to incentivize it so that there's a lot of homes on the market, and that will bring the prices down over time, because you'll drive down the street and you'll have 4 or 5 signs in the yard, and people actually have to compete to sell their home.
well, let's just share one little piece of information, though, Blake, that really just proves your point. And that really talks about, so we're going to get the personal consumption expenditures report on Friday this week. That's the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Now, I don't remember the exact number in that one. I do know the number for CPI. 43% of CPI comes from shelter. Now, think about this. And you just shared with us that we're down 25% in number of homes sold. And we know that there's about a 1.7 factor in the economic activity that comes from a house being sold. So what's that mean? So basically what that's saying is that when a house is sold for $1 million, there's $1,700,000 in economic activity. because the person that's going to buy the house, you guys are all married. We're all married.
Absolutely. And
We move into a new house. Does your wife like the color of the walls?
Right.
it can just have
the
just
paint.
been remodeled, and the person wants to change
Right.
it.
Mom wants it to make it her own.
Yes.
So she wants new carpet. She wants new paint. We're married, so we know we don't get a vote, right? She wants to have.
Don't look at me when you say we're married.
I'm not married to you. We're all married to other individuals. None of them will come on the show
Okay,
with us.
never mind.
Joanne's on my phone right now. Why is that?
Yeah. Not going to even go there. That could
What have
really-
you
Well, I
done?
thought we were in the garage,
What
so
have you
let's go ahead.
done?
But we've got a
digress.
lot of like economic activity, and then they wonder, well, why is the economy stagnating? Right? Why do we have a 1% growth over the last? Why is real income down? You know, when you take the income that's going up, less inflation is a negative number. Well, a lot of it has to do with real estate.
Absolutely. I mean, you
Always
figure
the
the
driver,
average.
or, you know,
Oh,
an
go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
no, just all real estate's always an engine. It's always the engine.
It's about 1 in 6 jobs in the economy are tied to a real estate transaction somehow. And there's about 50 to 53 people who are involved in a real estate transaction, from the title company to the escrow to the home inspector. It's a massive support system that is relying on this field to as their source of living.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you take the real estate agents out of the market, who can't, they buy and sell real estate too.
Sure.
And many of them can't qualify based on their current suppression of income. So now they're out of the market, and they're sitting there going, I can't move up. I can't move across to a different investment.
Right.
I'm locked.
Well, look at the number. I'm just looking right here. The city of Orange, where we're sitting and broadcasting from right now, there's 47 single-family homes available for sale.
Okay.
And how many
In the whole city of
In
Orange?
the whole city of Orange,
That's ridiculous.
There-
right? And there's probably what 500, 600, 700 realtors in the city of
Oh,
Orange.
yeah.
Is there any history up to that 47? Can you look back, let's say 2 years, and see?
I
was
can go
the-
back to it only goes back to March 36 back in
And-
March.
It goes
You're
down.
listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Jim Norton and Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
March Madness might be over, but the game is still on for home buyers. Don't let misrepresentation of home appreciation outlook get you down. The FHFA says that despite the Fed doubling interest rates, home prices are just down less than 1% from their peak last June. What are you waiting for? It's time to shoot your shot and start your home buying journey with RSRmoney.com. They will guide you through every step, making the process as smooth as a three-pointer. Visit RSRmoney.com now and make your dream home a reality.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. RSRNoDebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Don't go borrowing until you check it out. If you've got student loans, please visit. We're going to put up a lot of information over the next week on educating you about, there's 11 programs out there, 11 federal programs to help reduce your student loan payments. So just be real careful of what you're doing on there until you take a look at these programs. I do want to go back just for a second here because Blake was chatting and I found my chart that I wanted to get data from about mortgage rates compared to, now this only goes to about, since Jim started collecting Social Security. It's 5 decades now. So 1970s, Blake, the interest rates averaged 8.86.
Okay.
1980s, 12.70.
Oof.
All right.
Yeah.
Such an
Whoops.
idiot.
No, that's Jerome Powell. Sorry, that wasn't the right button. Yeah. In the 1990s, 8.12.
Yeah.
In the 2000s, averaged 6.27. In the 2010s, 4.09. And today I just shared that we are at 6.695 is yesterday's was number. So I don't have an average for the 20, for this decade yet because it's not over yet. But, that just gives you an idea. We're not really that different than what we've been for the, other than the 2010s. Right? I mean, we're basically the exact same price. Now the issue is, and you may have heard the broadcast or not, I frequently have millennials on the program. And the issue there is, we know 28%, I think was last month's number of homes are bought by first-time home buyers. They only know one number, right? They've only been alive for that low number. So they're looking at it saying, well, we're 50% higher than what I'm used to seeing.
Right.
Well, and there's over 10 years worth of agent experience. If they got their license in the last 10 years, they've not experienced a shift like we're going through right now, where we used to experience pretty substantial changes every couple of years. There'd be an adjustment.
New cycles that
we had to be flexible and adapt and pivot.
Right.
Here you haven't.
Jim and I are not flexible.
Well,
so that's a whole different story.
That's a different thing.
Pivot.
That's a
pivot.
Crucial word there. Pivot.
Yeah, we can pivot.
I like that.
We're not flexible,
pivot,
but we
parry,
can pivot.
and thrust, whatever.
No, but you're right. That's the whole issue. Is we've got to be, and so
that just makes us old. That's all I'm thinking. I'm looking at that chart and just going, I'm old. I don't know if
Was there a question about that?
I don't.
Is there a question in there anywhere?
Stunned at the chart. But no, it just tells you that there are, again, what we mentioned earlier about cycles. Everything cycles one way, up, down. And you have to go back to Blake's first one when he started the example of the buyer with the low FICO.
Right.
Is you have to look at your individual circumstances and see how those circumstances relate to the current market and how you can fit those two together. Obviously, the whoever guided them in their acquisition plan did a great job taking them, building up their credit score, keeping an eye on them, working with them, and then getting them into the market. Because what did they end up buying? $1,100,000, and they started with a 480
FICO score.
There you, I mean, where else but real estate can you have a 480 FICO score, get it up, and acquire $1 million property?
And it
That's
was
just
and it was
really
an
good.
FHA loan, so it wasn't wasn't hard money or something like that. It was
Wasn't private money.
Yeah,
Public, government loan.
Yeah.
So one of the things there we obviously will always share with you. If you go to rsrmoney.com, and you monitor your FICO score or your credit score, that doesn't have a FICO score, but if you monitor your credit score right there, which you should, and you see that you've got a low score, creditsanitizer.com. That's our friends over at Blue Water Credit who will help you get your credit scores corrected. They'll give you a strategy to help get your credit scores to where they really should be. So just a couple of different tools there to help you. Again, that's been our process right along. So go back a little bit. I just ran while we were on our break right there. I'm going to take a wild guess how many homes are available for sale in the city, the entire city of Anaheim. Probably one of the biggest cities in the county.
I know this answer.
There's 8 zip codes, so
About
I would in the whole
80?
city, all 8 zip codes. Yeah, but maybe 75, 80.
89.
Wow,
Ah!
good job, Jim.
I
You
know.
win.
I was glancing through the.
Oh, were you?
I didn't
Isn't that
remember every
amazing?
line. I
That-
just happened.
that
to
89 homes for a city
There used to be
this
that
size.
many just in 92807
Makes
and
you-
92808
makes you wanna
combined.
look-
Right. I mean,
Makes you
that's
want to look up another city. Let's say Phoenix, and what is a comparable population size? How many homes in a different
Well, here,
geographical area? 'Cause
sure.
that would be an interesting comparison because everybody says, "Oh, it's cheaper to move out of state. It's cheaper to do this." Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Depends on what your situation is.
Right.
I advise anybody who wants to sell in the next 18 months to have a no obligation review of the strategy of why it's important to put your house on the market while the inventory is low. Because if everybody decides in 6 to 12 weeks that they're tired of living in California or this or that happens, I can only imagine what's going to happen if the state actually passes the one law that they're passing, trying to get through the legislature, where they're going to take control of the narrative of your kids learning what you may not want them to learn, and that if you fight the state will take your children from you.
Wow.
Look it up. I'm not making it up. I read about it. I don't remember the assembly number, but I got an alert from someone who's fighting it, saying this is a real bill. It's going through the assembly right now, and we need to speak up as a society because we don't want the government controlling our lives. We want the government there to serve us. We're the citizens. We are the ones who.
I haven't heard that
have
one
to
yet.
be
I'm gonna
served.
have to look for that one.
It's
Yeah.
a scary one.
Yeah.
It says if you fight the agenda that they want to teach, they have the right to remove your children from
Wow.
your household.
Well, can't you just take them out of the school district?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know all the things to it. I'm still researching it myself. But
That's a whole rabbit trail right there.
Oh,
It's and the media is not talking about it, but it's an actual bill in the assembly. I could
the
look.
media doesn't talk about anything.
I'll you know what? I'll get it to you and you so you can post it on your site.
Yeah. I'd love to see that because we'll talk to our friends, protectourkidsnow.org, I think is the name of the company,
Right.
organization.
Interesting guy. I saw that.
And
show.
he's been on with us many times, so we'll have to get him on there. But now you got me all riled up, and we've only got about a minute left in our broadcast.
Well, you
so.
also, there are a lot of detriments. Blake's exactly right. But back to housing, We have an insurance problem going on
Yes.
in the state, and we've not know it. That has not.
They're doing nothing to fix it.
That has not come out.
How about we might get rid of our gas stoves though? So that's important.
Oh.
That's another one. I mean, all this.
And
all
you start
this is
eating bugs
eventually.
instead of meat.
Well, the point being is all this is going to monetize the transaction negatively or positively some way.
Sure.
And eventually, so more things, more things keep coming down, more of the problems are going to become for somebody.
Which goes back to what Blake was saying initially is take a look. I mean, if you've got some questions about some of these things, maybe if you're not happy with the direction of them, you may want to take action right away. We opened the broadcast today with, hey, how do you get out of some of the debt and get your household finances in order and maybe find the property that's right for you? There's a lot of things going on out there that you may want to take a look at. And if you want that free consultation, I'll volunteer Blake. He'll put you in touch with somebody that can help with a real estate consultation. We both know quite a few people here locally who can help. We might even volunteer Jim just to do it. He won't even recommend somebody. We'll just say that Jim will do it. But hey, if you have those questions, give us a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, we ask that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.